Welcome to another lecture of our data structure playlist. Today we are going to learn about arrays. So what is an array and why we use it? So I think you are already familiar with the concept variable since you have already done C language. So suppose there is a variable marks, and in C language we declare marks variable like this: int marks. This int is data type, that is integer, and this marks is the name of the variable. And now we are storing a value inside this variable marks, that is 72 for here. Okay, so whenever we are printing marks, or we are doing a function or adding it, or whatever we are doing with marks, this means we are using 72 value. Okay, so that's for marks of one pupil. So suppose we are making a list of 200 students of our class. Okay, so for 200 students, what should we write? Should we write 200 different variables and take their values, assign them? So that is not what we are going to do. We will not obviously take 200 different variable names, because that will be problematic for us to remember which variable name we used for which student. If it was our real maths, then we would have written variables like x1, x2, x3 like that. Okay, so that's the same thing we do with arrays. So for 200 students, we just name the variable as marks, but we declare an array of variable marks. Okay, instead of declaring a single variable marks, we declare an array of variable marks of size 200 for 200 students. And how do we declare that? So see, that's how we declare int. That is the data type name. Okay, it could also be float, character, or anything like that. Okay, we are taking int here as a data type, and marks, that is the variable name. And after marks, inside third bracket, I have written 200. That means there are 200 variables named marks, that is marks of 0, marks of 1, and marks of 2, like that. Okay, so we start from marks of 0 up to marks of 199, because our size was 200. So the last variable will be marks of size minus 1, that is 200 minus 1, 199. Okay, because arrays are initialized from 0. So see, so for that is how we declare an array, int marks, and that is the variable name, that is the data type, and that is the size inside third bracket. And if we need to initialize any particular value, suppose the marks of the 5th students is 90, so I will write marks 5th student. Okay, so 5th student will be what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the 5th student will be 4, so marks of 4 will be 90. Okay, so that's how we assign a value towards an array variable. Now let's check something else, that is the array is a contiguous memory allocation. So this is our memory, and this is how the memory is allocated in an array. Okay, so this is marks of 0, this is marks of 1, this will be marks of 2. Suppose the memory allocation is starting from 1000 address, and as we know that int is of size 4, so this particular marks of 0 has size 4, so this is from 1000 to 1004. So that is how we are allocating memory locations. So now let's see the process of initializing an array. So that is the one process which I think you already know how to initialize an array. That is int, that is the data type, array-1, this is the name of the variable, and this 10 is the size. And this is the declaration part, and along with the declaration we can also initialize. So after the declaration we will just use an equals to, and we are going to write the values inside second bracket. Okay, so these are 10 values, that is 1 to 10. So we have written the 10 values inside the second bracket. So then this value will be initialized like this. Okay, suppose array of 0 will be 1, array of 9 will be 10. Okay, so this value will be initialized like this. There is another way of declaration, so that is the important part, because here we are going to teach you how to take user input, that is the value we are not going to initialize inside our code. The value will be given by the user, and we will just scan it from the user, and we will assign it to our array variables. So first we were initializing a size of the array. Okay, so we are having a variable n, and we are assigning value 5 to the variable n. So this 5 will be the size of our array. Okay, so now for declaring the array, that is array 2, instead of writing 5 here, we are writing n, and as we have already declared n as 5, so whenever we will write n, it will work as 5. So okay, so this will be working like this, int array of 2 size 5. Okay, this will be working like this. So now we have an array of size 5. Now how to scan the input? So see, for that we need to run a for loop. Suppose there was 1000 instead of 5. So what should have we written? We should have written 1000 lines of code by accepting values from users. So that's not how we are going to do it, right? Because that is like futile and time wasting. So we use a for loop. Okay, so how to use a for loop? I think you are already familiar of the syntax of for loops, but I will still explain it anyway. Suppose the for keyword is the for keyword is used here, and inside the for keyword we are having 3 statements. Okay, so this is the initialization part. We are declaring variable I of int data type and assigning the value 0 to it. Why we are using 0? Because we know that array variables are started from 0. Okay, and there is a semicolon to end the sentence, and the next sentence is what? I is less than n. N is what here? N is 5. So n is 5. This means our array has which things? Our array has which variables? From array of 0 to array of 4. Okay, so this I less than n means I will always be less than 5. So what is the maximum value possible of I? It is 4. So it will be going from array of I equals to 0. That means array of 0 to maximum value of I will be 4, because it is always going to be less than 5. So the maximum value will be array of 4. I plus plus means that I will be increasing by 1 after every loop. Okay, so this will be going from array of 0 to array of 4 by 1 at a time. So we are doing only one statement inside this for loop. That is what we are scanning the value from the user. Percentage d is used for integer value, for scanning integer values, and we are giving the address of array of I. Okay, so this array of I, this I means at the initial time this I is 0, so it is the address of the first array variable. So the first thing we enter through our user, this will be our first array variable, then I will be incremented to 1, then this is going to be the address of the second array variable, and the second thing we give as user input, this will be going to stored in our second array variable. So that this loop is going to run from 0 to 4, that is from array of 0 to array of 4 we are getting values one by one. Okay, so that is how we take values for an array. And if we want to print the array, instead of scanf we are just going to write printf here to print the array. Okay, so I will be showing that to you in a program. So here is the code. In the first line I have written int r of 10. Okay, so this is the basic declaration of an array. Okay, so the int is a data type, r is the variable name, that is the name of the array, and 10 is the size of the array. So see, you can I am writing here that the variables of the array are array of 0, array of 1 to up to array of 9. Okay, so these are the variables or 10 array variables we are declaring by this simple syntax int array of 10. Now let's try to declare an array by the given size, and the size will be given by user. So I am declaring a variable integer variable of named size. This variable will store the size given by the user, and in the printf statement I am printing or I am asking the user to enter the size of the array, and user will give input of his or her choice. Okay, and then I am scanning that input in our size variable. So scanf %d comma ampersand size. This is how we are scanning the size given by the user. Now we are declaring another array, that is int array. Okay, array1. Int array1 is of size what? Is of the given size by user. Suppose the user have given size 5, then the variable size is replaced by value 5. So now we are declaring another array of int array1 of size. Okay, so this size means the variable. So here the variable's value will be 5, or whatever the user gives as the value. Okay, so suppose the user gives value 6, then the size of the array will be value 6. Okay, so we are declaring another array of size given by the user. Now we are asking the user to enter the elements of the array. okay, by printf statement. And also the array of the size variable size, okay, this means this name gets confusing, whatever. Suppose I have given an example of user input 6, so let's talk about 6. So then it will be of array variable 0, array variable 1 to array variable size minus 1. So this here size equals to 6, then it will be array variable 5, okay, size minus 1, 6 minus 1, 5. So it will be from array of 0 to array of 5. Now I will ask the user to give the array elements and I will scan them. So how will I scan them? I have already shown you this in the copy and the theory part. So see here, I have done just similar thing, that is I am running a for loop from 0 to less than the size given by the user, okay, because the last array variable will be the size variable minus 1, so it will be always be less than the size given by the user, okay. And I am incrementing I by 1 for every loop, and now I am scanning the variable and storing it into array 1 of I, okay. So first for the first initial iteration of the loop, it will be stored in array of 0, and the next iteration it will be stored in array of 1, and then like this it will be getting increased, and it will all store all the values of the array given by the user. And now to print the array, I will just repeat the same thing, but here I am replacing the scanf with printf, okay. That is I am again iterating the array from I equals to 0 to I less than size, okay. And here inside the for loop, what I am doing, I am just printing the values. And also after %d, that is we are using %d for printing integer values, I am using /t. This /t is used for giving tab. So that's the code. Now run it and see. See, I have run the program and it is asking me to enter the size of the array, and I am given 5 as an input here. So this 5 will be stored in variable size, and now it is asking me for giving the array elements. So I am giving the array elements as a 10 to 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and now it is showing me, that is printing the array elements to me, and all the elements have a tab in between them. So that's it for today.